because of the push right there. Kind of like a get off me a little bit. But she's holding it right there. Look at the hand checking, right? We got the hand checking going on the hip. Putting it on the chest. How you hand checking? You can't hand check. This isn't the 80s. What are we doing? Hold on, man. She's hand checking right here. Then Caitlin trying to get by, right? But her hand's still there.
Caitlin Clark came back with a vengeance, delivering a performance hotter than an Indiana summer. After taking a hard hit just days earlier, she flipped the script and turned the Dream's night into a full-blown nightmare. The Fever hit the court with fire, focus, and buckets, as if someone handed them the blueprint to dominance. This game was intense from start to finish. Did Clark silence the critics again? Absolutely. It was more explosive than a courtside nacho spill. One thing's clear, Caitlin Clark is still that star, and the league better start paying attention.
See, gang! Fever gang! That's how you bounce back and get a W versus the Atlanta Dream. Hey, Rhyne Howard, you ain't pointing to the bench and talking all now, are you? Go sit your goof down. Brianna Jones, all you do is scream, "Hey!" to try to get a foul. Sit your goof down. What happened to Kung Pao Pao Chicken? I thought she was cooking Caitlin Clark. Natasha Howard, absolutely fabulous game. That's how you ball and bounce back.
Fresh off a tough loss, Rhyne Howard didn't hit the gym or work on her shot. She marched straight into Caitlin Clark's space like she was collecting on a long overdue debt. But Clark? Cool as ever. She looked Howard dead in the eyes and dropped the now iconic line, "I'm not scared of you, Mike." Dropped. The moment was pure fire, no drama, just unshakable confidence. Instead of rattling Clark, Howard's attempted intimidation only added fuel to the fire. Once again, Clark proved she's not just here to play, she's here to lead.
Caitlin Clark and Rhyne Howard get into it here. So Rhyne Howard he was fouling Caitlin Clark the whole game, and is going into Caitlin Clark coming back to Rhyne Howard. "I'm not scared of you." Saying that. And it's funny where it's like, people like these players hate each other. Like, Caitlin Clark and Rhyne Howard have played on national teams together. Caitlin Clark and Rhyne Howard played against each other in college. Caitlin Clark, I'm pretty sure there was a game where Caitlin Clark in the first half scored more points than Rhyne Howard's team.
Rhyne Howard's attempt to intimidate Caitlin Clark was like trying to roast a fire-breathing dragon with a sparkler, utterly pointless and borderline comical. It didn't rattle Clark, it only highlighted just how unbothered and composed she truly is. But that's the beauty of sports, those raw, unscripted moments where someone picks the wrong opponent to test. All Howard really did was add another highlight to Clark's growing legend, proving once again she's built for the spotlight and ready for any smoke that comes her way.
In case you're wondering what Caitlin Clark said just there was, "I'm not scared of you." She's going to have to wear a hard hat this season. I mean, seriously. The league is going to try to take her out.
Now let's talk about the game itself. Just a few days ago, the Indiana Fever looked completely overwhelmed by the Atlanta Dream, a performance so one-sided it felt like Indiana was just background noise in the Dream's highlight reel. But this time, the Fever didn't just show up, they came in swinging with the energy of a triple shot of espresso and a serious chip on their shoulder. Fueled by revenge and a point to prove, they played with grit, purpose, and fire. It was a full-blown statement win. A reminder that counting out Indiana is always a mistake.
3 for 5 from free throw, right? I thought when she missed that second one late, I thought that might have come back to bite them, but they held on. They made some smart plays at the end. Good job, CC. She heard y'all. She heard y'all talking that smack, man. She heard y'all. But Natasha, beautiful game. 26.7 rebounds. Helped lead the Fever to a win.
From the moment the ball went up, the Indiana Fever played like they were starring in Revenge of the Underdogs, the sequel. Caitlin Clark was absolutely everywhere, draining deep threes with laser focus, slicing through defenders like gravity was optional, and flashing those signature come-get-me looks that scream confidence. The Atlanta Dream? They looked shaken, like they accidentally wandered into a hornet's nest wearing a honey suit, completely unprepared for the storm Indiana brought. Sure, Rhyne Howard's pre-game stare-down made headlines, but the real show unfolded on the hardwood. You could practically feel the fire in the Fever locker room pregame, like a mix of a motivational speech and a WWE hype session. Coaches probably shouted, "They think they can walk all over us?" Rhyne Howard thinks she can rattle Caitlin Clark? Let's show 'em who we are. And Natasha Howard? You know she wasn't letting the moment slide, probably flexing in the mirror, grinning, and saying, "I'm the real Howard you should be worried about," as she got her team locked in for a battle. This wasn't just a win. It was a message. The Fever are here, and they're not backing down.
Rhyne Howard was in Caitlin Clark's ass. She was giving her the business. Rhyne Howard had a great game. Her defense on Caitlin Clark was phenomenal. But ultimately, Indiana came out with the win. Just like Caitlin Clark had a pretty damn good game the last time they played, and they ended up losing. So it's funny how that thing works out. But in this situation, again, it's two competitors going at it. And as a Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever fan, let me say this and keep it a buck. Caitlin Clark talks cash shit. Caitlin talks a lot of shit.
The Dream stepped onto the court brimming with confidence, probably still buzzing from their earlier blowout over Indiana. But confidence only takes you so far when you're up against a team fueled by revenge and laser focus. Caitlin Clark wasn't just playing ball, she was conducting a masterclass in mental warfare. Every deep three was a calculated jab, each pinpoint assist a subtle reminder, I run this court now. And speaking of assists, Clark's vision was unreal. She sliced through Atlanta's defense with passes so sharp and precise, it was like watching a magician work. Natasha Howard and Sophie Cunningham feasted on the looks she created, dropping shots that had the crowd on its feet. It felt like Clark could see the entire game 2 steps ahead, like her basketball IQ came with a built-in crystal ball. If she wore glasses, you'd swear they were enchanted, giving her some kind of court-reading superpower. This wasn't just a bounce-back game, it was a statement, loud, clear, and impossible to ignore.
Dope as always, Sophie. So good to have you back. Kelsey, clutch shot at the end. Dantes, fabulous game. I need more bun minutes, man. Put Dantes in the game more. Clark, you was a bricklayer tonight shooting, but you was doing other stuff, man, as the floor general. And I need you to make more of them free throws, Caitlin. But great job getting a W after the Dream beat us the last game. Good momentum to go in playing the Liberty coming up on Saturday. Still got stuff to work out, but we need games like this to get the chemistry going down the stretch in fourth quarters like.
Natasha Howard was the immovable force the Fever needed, a defensive anchor who turned the paint into a no-fly zone. Every time the Dream thought they had a clear path to the basket, Natasha stepped in like a brick wall with a message. Not today. Her blocks weren't just stops, they were momentum-shifting statements, shutting down Atlanta's rhythm and leaving their offense scrambling. She patrolled the lane with the intensity of a lion protecting its territory, forcing the Dream to think twice about every drive. And when it came to rebounding, Howard wasn't just collecting boards, she was snatching them like a woman on a mission. Defensive glass, offensive glass, it didn't matter. If the ball was up for grabs, Natasha got it first, crashing the boards like it was personal. Each rebound and block helped flip the script, fueling Indiana's fast break and breathing life into their transition offense. She didn't just defend, she dictated. Her energy was contagious, her presence undeniable, and her impact impossible to miss.
But regardless, despite not shooting well, despite some, tough physical defense, the Fever are able to come away with a win. Natasha Howard was huge.
Fever avenged their loss by beating the Atlanta Dream 81-76. Couple things to note by looking at the statistics here is that the Indiana Fever surprisingly won the rebound battle, as well as points in the paint by doubling what the Dream were able to score in the paint. And I know it's easy to chirp the refs, but to have a combined 46 fouls is just too many in a basketball game. If we look at the Fever stats, Natasha Howard dropped 26 and had a phenomenal game. Kelsey Mitchell had 17, Clark had 11, Lexi Hall 10. But the real X factor is Sophie Cunningham in her Indiana Fever debut had 9.6 rebounds, 3 assists, and was a defensive menace.
Is one thing that is very clear, and we talked about this. Sophie Cunningham is absolutely going to be a spark plug for this team. No doubt about it. She came in, instant hustle. Lexi Hall, instant.
But I'm tired of people talking about a rivalry. The only rivalry that we see for is young talent. Right now with Caitlin Clark, every time they play and it's a matchup and the game is electric and they're going tit for tat, is Rhyne Howard on the Atlanta Dream and Caitlin Clark on the Indiana Fever. We have to focus on the production, the on-court stuff. All the other fluff, all the other nonsense, all the other things is good for the league for marketability and merchandise sales, and that's great. That's fine. And when we talk about the viewership, that's cool. Clap it up. But what you do on a basketball court is eventually going to catch up to all the rest of that nonsense, because if you're not producing, if you're not hooping, if people aren't watching games and seeing one player produce another player produce, and things are one-sided, then all that other stuff, people are going to stop. They're going to stop.
Sophie Cunningham was huge in her return, and they just showed the toughness to persevere and get it done when it needed to be done. That's what a team that has aspirations of a championship does. So when you look at the game itself and some of those moments,
Fever and Atlanta are the real rivals. They was battling it out tonight with the help of the refs. Natasha Howard must have heard what we were saying about her, because she came in this game with 27 points. Kelsey Mitchell had 17 and Lexi Hall had 10. Miss Caitlin Clark had 11 points, but she was 0 for 5 behind the arc, and she was like 4 for 11. She was not having a good shooting night. Her and Rhyne Howard exchanged some words, and I actually really like that matchup.